Hello, and welcome to episode 50 of the Nourish and Strengthen podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about simple lifestyle hacks to improve your gut health. I actually have 10 of them we're going to be talking through. And once we get to the end of the 10, I'm going to share with you guys also some of my favorite supplements to help with gut health. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. We're going to talk about why is your gut health so important. Maybe you have heard this before. Okay, maybe you've heard that your gut health is so crucial to balancing your hormones and so many other things that relate to our weight loss, our weight maintenance. But we're going to jump on into that. We're going to talk about that first. So why is our gut health so important? You guys, our gut is home to like literally trillions of bacteria. And some of those bacteria are good bacteria that we need to have in order to break down our food, but some of it is bad bacteria as well. And this bacteria plays a really important role in our metabolism and our hormone health. So the bacteria actually feeds on dietary fiber while they're doing a whole bunch of really important things. So they help make vitamins, they help make B vitamins and vitamin K. They break down dietary fiber, and this breakdown of the fiber actually results in a release of really, really good fatty acids that are really important to the energy to our energy in our bodies. Okay. So it's that processing of the carbs we eat, all the food we eat, actually, that gut bacteria breaks them down into usable vitamins and minerals for our body. Okay. You've probably also heard that our guts have been referred to as our second brain. So if that kind of sounds abstract, but have you guys ever been so stressed and nervous that you actually got like gas or diarrhea? Like it actually affects your digestion. That's happened to a lot of us, right? You just kind of get in your head and you have so much stress that maybe you get constipated, or on the flip side, the diarrhea, gas, bloating. Our emotions and our hormones are really intricately linked to our gut. Okay. Also, the majority of our serotonin is produced in our gut. 70% of our immune system is actually in our gut. So you can see why our gut health is so, so important. So when we say things like, what is good gut health? Good gut health is basically just a healthy balance between that good bacteria and the bad bacteria. Okay. You also might hear me say the words gut microbiome. So the microbiome actually refers to all the tiny little microorganisms and just that genetic material that live in your intestinal tract. Okay. So most of that is bacteria, but you want to really focus on, and I'm going to share some supplements that help with this as well, but you want to focus on that healthy balance between good bacteria and bad bacteria to keep up a healthy microbiome. Okay. So how do you know if your gut health needs work? So if you have a lot of stress in your life, and whether that is stress you can control or not. So maybe you've had, a death in the family, or a divorce, or a cross-country move, or, situations that are causing you stress with your family, your job, things like that. Long-term antibiotic use. If you've been on like one round of antibiotics after another, just over and over again, you could use some work on your gut health. Maybe you have come off a period of your life where you've had poor nutrition choices. Maybe you've come from a very stressful time of life where you're super busy. You've been eating out a lot. You've been choosing more processed foods than you typically do. You might want to focus a little bit on your gut health. Another way to know just is based on your symptoms. Do you have a lot of gas throughout the day, or even just at the end of the day? Do you have a lot of bloating? Do you have times where your stomach just feels like hard and distended? Maybe, you feel like, oh my gosh, every time I eat, I feel like I'm pregnant because my tummy just like protrudes out, right? Distends. Maybe you have a lot of constipation. If you're not pooping at least every day, that's a sign that you could use some help on your gut health. On the flip side, maybe you constantly have loose stools, you have a lot of diarrhea, there's not a lot of bulk to your poop. I know that might sound gross, but it's a real thing you got to focus on. These are common symptoms that can be super easy to clear up just with some focus on your gut health, okay? So that's what I want to share with you today. Like I said, I am going to share some supplements, but I want to share with you 10 things that you can implement right now into just your lifestyle that will help with your gut health. Okay. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. So number one is eating while you're stressed. So now I know if you have like a high stress lifestyle, I'm not saying like you can't eat, but if you are like in the middle of maybe a stressful conversation, it might be best to put off your next meal and have, maybe go in your room, try to decompress, lay down for just a few minutes, take some deep breaths, maybe meditate for 5 minutes or so. Try and put yourself back in that parasympathetic nervous system state where you're in more of that rest and digest state. Okay. So what happens when we eat while we're super stressed, what happens is you're not able to divert proper bodily resources to digestion. You're not going to make enough stomach acid to break down your food and absorb the nutrients, which is going to lead to more gas, bloating, other issues like that. So here's what I want you to try. With each of these tips, I'm going to give you a try this solution, okay? So try this. If you feel like, well, I always kind of am in a high stress state. I don't know how to not eat when I'm stressed. Like that doesn't really make sense. So here's something you can do. I want you to try some meditation or some deep breathing before you eat. And that will put your body, like I said, into that rest and digest state that is going to be prime for healthy digestion. Another idea is you can actually go on a walk after you eat to help your body digest, okay? To kind of put yourself in that parasympathetic state just after your meal, okay? And this doesn't have to be some whole like breath work session. I'm talking even just like 10 to 15 deep breaths, close your eyes, focus on those big belly breaths before your meal is gonna help, okay? Number two, focus on distracted eating, meaning not eating while you're distracted, okay? Because eating while you're working, while you're doing other things, while you're driving, can actually also shunt blood flow away from your digestive organs, and that's gonna affect your ability to digest your food, okay? So here's what I want you guys to try. I want you to try, and this is hard, but I want you to focus on this, is really just focusing on your food. Okay. Try putting screens away. Try not scrolling social media while you're eating. Try not working while you're eating. Just really focus on the food, on the texture, how it tastes, and just kind of compartmentalize. Okay, I am stopping my work. I'm stopping what I was doing before, and now I'm eating. And then you can always go back to what you were doing before, okay? But that distracted eating is going to affect your ability to digest that food, okay? Number three, eat more fruits and veggies to help your gut health. These are some of the best sources of nutrients, you guys, for a healthy body. So fruits and veggies, they're high in fiber, which can be digested by your bacteria in your gut, and it can stimulate the production of more good bacteria. Okay. And I know it can be hard to increase those fruits and veggies, especially if you're not focusing on it. So what I want you to do is focus on it. Okay. During your meal prep and during your grocery planning and your grocery shopping, I want you to be intentional and plan in 1 to 3 different fruits or veggies for the week that you're going to include every single day. Okay. So maybe you think of like, okay, I'm going to have one snacking veggie this week. Maybe that is like English cucumbers, or maybe that's bell peppers, maybe that's celery sticks. And then also incorporate one fruit for your day, and maybe incorporate a big salad with some veggies, maybe some fruit on there. This is at the minimum, okay? That's like, 2 or 3 servings of fruits and veggies. That's the minimum of what I want you to be getting. But if you incorporate that into your meal planning and your grocery shopping, you're going to be so much more likely to actually follow through and include those in your day-to-day eating, okay? Tip number 4 for healthier gut health is, you know this one, guys, but getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That high sleep amount is so, so important, because not getting enough sleep can increase cortisol levels, which will negatively impact your digestion. Remember that gut-brain hormone connection, guys? When cortisol goes up, digestive health goes down, okay? Because high cortisol can actually cause this intestinal permeability issues, okay? It can cause issues there, and it can cause gas, bloating, stomach pain. I don't know about you guys, but I've had times in my life when my stress is so high, that I feel like I have an ulcer. Like I have actual pain in my abdomen. I've actually even gone to the ER for this before, and they're like, everything looks fine. And it just comes down to high stress. Okay. It can actually cause even food sensitivities to come up, which come from actual changes in your gut microbiome from chronic sleep deprivation. So this is like a real thing. I feel like I talk about sleep on here like every single week, guys, and you're probably rolling your eyes, but when it comes to gut health, it is super, super important. Okay. So try this, try getting more sleep. But how you do that, I want you guys to focus on a bedtime routine. Okay. So focus on a good bedtime routine. And I want you to be in bed. Here's my number one takeaway tip for getting more sleep. Be in your bed 30 minutes before you want to fall asleep. Okay. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, when my head hits the pillow, I am not just falling asleep right away. That is not how sleep works for me. I have to be in bed, unwind. I have to read a book for a little bit. I have to take some deep breaths and really focus on relaxing my body before I can fall asleep. So my number one tip for getting more sleep is actually being in your bed 30 minutes before you want to be falling asleep. Okay. Huge, huge help that will help you get more sleep. Tip number 5 for better gut health is staying hydrated. Guys, if you are dehydrated, what's going to happen in your digestive tract is your colon is actually going to soak up whatever water it can from the food that's moving through your intestines, which is going to make you constipated. Okay. It's going to make that poop, that waste really hard for your body to pass, which is going to lead to stomach pain and, like I said, constipation. Okay. So try this instead. Drink at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day. That is a good recommendation for most people. And then add on another 2 or 3 cups to compensate for water loss, like sweat in your workout. Add on even more if you live in a hot or humid climate, or if you just feel like you got overheated throughout the day, you need to add more water. Okay. Another good way is just to focus on the color of your urine. If it is on the clearer side, then more of the yellow, then you're on the right track here. Okay. Tip number 6 for good gut health is eat slowly and chew thoroughly. Okay. Have you guys heard that digestion actually starts in your mouth? It does. It's true. So the more work you do there on digesting your food, the easier time your gut will have digesting your food. Okay. We've all heard the old wives' tales that are like, chew each bite 20 times or chew your food until it is like a paste. And some of those kind of gross me out when I think about that. But chewing, you guys, is also going to increase your saliva production, which is going to help your esophagus. It's going to reduce your stress on the esophagus, like passing the food through. And saliva actually has digestive enzymes in it as well that are going to aid with starting that digestion process. Okay. So here's your tip for this one. Try this. In order to eat more slowly and facilitate that, I want you to try putting your fork down between bites, okay? And really focus on chewing each bite of food to about a mashed potato consistency. I know that sounds a little gross, okay? But it's just something to be aware of. Just taking that meal slowly, put your fork down, put your hands down between bites, talk to people you're with, and just focus on extending that time that meal takes you to eat. It'll make a big difference, I promise, okay? Tip number 7, lifestyle tips to help improve your gut health is be mindful of fiber. Notice that I did not say eat more fiber. I did not say eat more fiber because too much fiber, especially coming from like things like cruciferous veggies, can be just as harmful to your digestion as too little fiber, okay? But if your fiber is low, really focus on getting more fiber from whole food sources, okay? Not your Fiber One bars, not fiber added to your tortillas, not protein bars, not fiber cereals. Those are going to make you really gassy, okay? Those are going to make you super gassy. But also be aware of how much fiber you're getting from cruciferous veggies because they can also be hard to digest sometimes. We have had a good number of clients come in and they're like, I'm eating tons of veggies. I'm getting so much fiber, but I'm always bloated. And guess what we do? We cut out some of those really hard to digest veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and get their fiber from different veggies, and all of a sudden they feel so much better. Okay, so try this. If you're having gas or bloating, try just cutting out cruciferous veggies for a week or so and see if you feel better. Okay. Also, try cutting out all processed foods that have lots of fiber added. So any of those things that are like, 15 grams of fiber in a tortilla or in a serving of cereal, that's going to be hard to digest, and it's going to make you super bloated. Okay. So I want you to focus on 25 to 30 grams of fiber. All right. From mostly whole foods. If you're getting more like 35, 40, 45 grams of fiber, it could be too much for your body to handle. Okay. If your fiber is under that and you find that with too many veggies, you get constipated, that's when I love using that Nuethix product. I have talked to you guys before about this. If you're constipated, try using Nuethix 1 packet a day. I'll put the link in my show notes along. My discount code is just Trainer Lindsay. I love this product. It has helped so many people get more regular in their bowel movements and just kind of get rid of that constipation. You want to take this at night though. If you take it during the day, it might make you a little gassy. So I tend to take it at night just before bed. I poop every single morning like clockwork. It's amazing. Tip number 8, eat fewer meals farther apart. Okay. So typically digestion is better when you're eating bigger, fewer meals versus snacking on smaller meals all day. Now, I know people used to say, smaller meals throughout the day, 6 or 7 meals. And if that works for you and your digestion is fine, go for it. Okay. But there is something called the migrating motor complex. Now, this is actually a contraction that pushes the food through our digestive system, and it's stimulated when our stomach is empty. So if our stomach is never emptying, our digestion is actually going to slow down and struggle. Okay. So by having those bigger meals less often, you give your body the time to fully digest that food before you're eating again, as opposed to just eating and you're not fully digesting the food between meals. Okay. So try this. Instead of 5, 6, 7 meals, and if you're struggling to digest that, try having 3 or 4 meal times throughout the day where you're having bigger meals, and see if that helps. Let your stomach empty, get hungry again, then you go eat. Okay. Another thing you can try is to set an eating window and stop eating a few hours before bed. This is letting that digestive system rest for 10 or 12 hours or so before you wake up in the morning and have breakfast again. Okay. Tip number 9 is to limit alcohol. Too much alcohol, you guys, is linked to irritation and inflammation of that gut lining. It's actually called gastritis, and alcohol will inflame the gut, okay? Gastritis can lead to heartburn, it can lead to ulcers, it can lead to like bloating and just pain in your abdomen. And drinking too much, and now too much is going to be dependent on the person, right? So it's hard to say exactly like what a limit should be. But drinking too much can lead to inflammation in your intestines, which actually over time can really alter your gut microbiome and really throw off that healthy balance of the good and bad bacteria. So try this. Keep alcohol consumption to occasional usage, not regular usage. So if you're struggling with digestion and you're reaching for a drink, 4 or 5 nights a week, try cutting it back to once or twice, or you're still having it occasionally. But it's not regular. Okay. Again, I don't have a hard and fast rule for how much you can drink and still have good gut health. But, if you're specifically working on improving your gut health and you feel like you can avoid alcohol for a little while, I would try that and let that gut microbiome kind of heal itself and get that good, healthy balance back, and then try incorporating it again. Okay. The last tip is food eliminations, okay? So I would not go all in and eliminate gluten, dairy, everything all at once, because then you don't know what made the difference, right? So I'm going to talk you through some things you can try eliminating. And what I would do is choose one thing at a time and eliminate it for 5 to 7 days before you decide if it helps or if it doesn't make a difference, okay? So you can try gluten, okay? Try cutting out gluten for about a week or so and see if that helps. If it didn't make a difference, try incorporating it in again slowly. You could try that with dairy. You can try that with all processed or artificial foods. You can go back to just eating whole, 100% quote unquote clean foods and see if that helps. Because sometimes we get in this habit of having too many shakes and bars and protein pancakes and tortillas and all these things that we don't even realize are so processed. And then at the end of the day, you're like, why does my stomach look like I'm 6 months pregnant? When really, if you just cut back to more whole foods, it would make a huge difference. FODMAPs, so cutting out high FODMAPs, that stands for fermentable fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. So what these are these are certain kinds of carbohydrates that actually feed your gut bacteria. So you don't want to cut high FODMAP foods out forever, okay? Because when you have that healthy balance and plenty of good bacteria, those high FODMAPs will feed that good bacteria and help you maintain that healthy balance. But if you find you have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, or maybe you have SIBO, for example, FODMAPs will feed the bad bacteria as well. So do you see why it might be helpful to cut that out? We have a lot of specific gut protocols that we do in our coaching program, and one of those does have to do with cutting out high FODMAP foods, okay? So you can, if you want to know like what foods are high FODMAP, if you just Google high FODMAP food list, IBS diet is one that will come right up, and that's a very extensive list that you can look at. So those are my 10 lifestyle tips and tricks for improving your gut health. But let's talk about some supplements that might help. And I will put the links for all of these in the show notes. I talked about the Inulax fiber. Love that product. Nuethix has a lot of really, really good gut supplements. I'm going to talk you through kind of some different ones and when you should use each one. I do not recommend going out and buying every single one of these, okay? I would try like one and see if it helps. Try another one, see if it helps, that kind of thing. So any of these ones from Nuethix, the website is just, I'll put the links in the show notes, but it's just like nuethix.com. And discount code is Trainer Lindsay for any of these, okay? So let's just talk about basics. If you want just basic gut health, a great thing to use is digestive enzymes, okay? That's going to help give your body the enzymes needed to effectively break down the food and absorb those nutrients. That's going to help reduce bloating, gas, things like that. Utilize is a great digestive enzyme from Nuethix, okay? Let's say another basic one that I love, like pretty much everyone to use, is glutamine. And this is going to strengthen the gut lining, strengthen that gut, healthy gut microbiome. Transform carries glutamine. Nuethix also has a product called Bloat-Eaze that is very, very helpful. It's pretty unique. It uses a bovine serum that's going to help support that gut lining as well. So there's kind of two options for you with just kind of healthy maintenance of a good, healthy gut lining, okay? If you have got some pretty severe gut issues, there are two products that I like to combine. One is Gut Defender. Okay, Gut Defender is really good for killing off that bad bacteria. Okay, you don't want to run this forever. I would do it for about 8 weeks and then stop. It's not a supplement you want to be on for the rest of your life, for example. Another one that works really well with Gut Defender is biofilm remover. So this is going to help support healthy levels of biofilm accumulation. This is great for bloating, constipation, gas. It helps for detoxification of heavy metals. So again, these two combined, the Gut Defender and the biofilm remover, are really, really helpful for more severe cases. If you have SIBO, if you just have a lot of gas and bloating and you've tried different things and nothing helps, I would jump straight to those two, only for 8 weeks, okay? Another good one that's good for most people is probiotics, okay? This is just feeding your body more good bacteria, okay? Transform has a great one. Flora Protect from Nuethix is great. I do recommend switching up your probiotic, from time to time. So you could try one for a couple months and then switch to another one for a couple months. There's also prebiotics. So what prebiotics do is they actually stimulate the growth and feed good bacteria. Okay, so probiotics is giving your body more good bacteria. Prebiotics is stimulating the growth of more good bacteria. Does that make sense? A good greens powder is going to have some prebiotics in it. So a greens powder will have polyphenols and antioxidants and prebiotics. Okay, so greens powders are awesome. Sometimes they don't taste great. The ones from Nuethix are pretty good though. I actually really like those. I like the berry and the chocolate flavors specifically. But yeah, those are the basic supplements I would recommend. So again, I like Inulax for a great fiber supplement. If you have really intense gut issues, I would recommend 8 weeks only of Gut Defender and Biofilm Remover. And then more just good basics ongoing for healthy gut health. You'd like digestive enzymes, probiotics, prebiotics, glutamine, that kind of thing. So hopefully that was helpful, you guys. Yeah, this is episode 50. What the heck, right? 2 more weeks and we are going to be at our 1-year anniversary. Wowzers, I got to plan something really fun. Maybe a good giveaway or something like that. But thanks for tuning into this episode, you guys. I'm going to put all these links in the show notes if you want to try it out. But you can totally just try the 10 lifestyle tips first and see if you feel like you even need the supplements to help support. So let me know if you guys have any questions on social. Love to connect. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.